But let's start here. Time Magazine's Athlete of the Year was announced today.
Yeah.
And it's Caitlyn Clark. And you believe she was the clear choice, and you have no issue with Time selecting Caitlyn Clark from the Indiana I got a fever and I don't know what to do with it, or is that the name of the team she plays for?
Yeah, that is the Yeah, don't act like you don't know. You know you don't miss a single WNBA game, let alone a Caitlyn Clark game. Come on, stop it,
I never miss the WNBA.
We know.
That's right. I never watch it, so I never miss it.
Yeah, I mean, look, there are a couple of contenders like any year that, you could say this person,
Don't
that
try
person.
to steal my thunder. Just talk
No,
about
I'm not. No. But the fact is, no, I'm going to tell you what it is. To me, I think it was actually a clear-cut one in this case for Caitlyn Clark. What she was able to do, and you split it up a couple of ways. For you to get Time Magazine in anything, typically it means you were great at what you do, but also you brought another narrative to this thing. You brought a bigger storyline. You did something globally or something that was bigger than just simply your play. And that's what she did. So first of all, you got to go back. Remember, she was the darling of March Madness earlier this year. So she was already that girl in college basketball, women's college basketball. Had everybody watching. The viewership was up in college. The ratings were up because of her games. She had people talking in barbershops that never talk about women's basketball, ever talk about women's basketball. And we were having these conversations. And shout out to Angel Reese and Juju Watkins, a part of this nice group of young female talented hoopers. But she was spearheading this. So now we got us talking about college basketball. She balls out in the tournament. She's doing things we haven't seen a female hooper do, hitting just like we didn't really see men's until Steph Curry a decade or so sooner. Then, Rob, she took over college. Now we go to the pros. And then she takes over the pros. There's controversy in the pros. They're hitting her around. They're pushing her around. They're treating her like this. This is dominating conversations. It's the lead on all the debate shows. That never happens, Rob, ever. You and Broussard are talking about women's college basketball, women's WNBA. And then she starts, like most people in any sport, starts off a little slow, gets her feet under, balls out, and starts to set records with leading the league in assists, hitting three-pointers all over the place, ends up being Rookie of the Year. And we have conversations about not only the actual Olympics, but who doesn't even make the Olympics. In her, she didn't even make the Olympics, and she was the topic of conversation for not even making the team, and people thought they were crazy for keeping her off. So to me, it was clear-cut. When you look at the way she empowered the sport itself, they get charter jets. They got more than 54 million unique viewers, which is the most ever, the most watched WNBA games on all networks were the games she played. She broke all the WNBA home attendance records. She got me and the Washington girls. We went and saw a game here in LA. The people are buying her jersey
for everybody.
That was the fun. That was the cherry.
Time Magazine
Time called me, and they said, "Did the Washington see you?"
Yeah, okay.
So you look at what they're set to receive. The WNBA is set to receive $200 million per year, which is up $60 million, and she is a large reason for that. So I just think when I look at the economic boom because of Caitlyn Clark, the economic boom that affects not just her, but all of the league and the league as a whole, the viewership that has gone up dramatically because of her, and not to mention, she was Rookie of the Year and a heck of a player. I just think she could clear cut. It is her. We've never experienced a WNBA of women's basketball boom like this where it's leading shows. We're talking about it. So to me, I think the choice was obvious and they got it right.
No, they could not have been more wrong on this. And Caitlyn Clark had an impact. But first of all, you mentioned a couple things which to me takes her out of it. She didn't win a national championship this year as well as she played in all the other eyeballs. And she wasn't even on the Olympic team. That's your athlete of the year. That makes no sense to me because along with the other stuff, the window dressing that people want to give Caitlyn Clark, can we talk about Shohei Ohtani, who in 1 year, set the market with a $700 million contract, had a historic 50-50 year that no one has ever done in the history of Major League Baseball that's been around for 150 years. May I? Not 30 years like the WNBA, but 150 years, and no one had ever done it. And he capped it off with a World Series championship. Shohei Ohtani was must-see TV. You could see it whenever the Dodgers were on, nationally, locally. He was a phenomenon. You went yourself to spring training, and tell me, when you went to Arizona, was there not a cavalcade of unbelievable fans to get a glimpse? His jersey, everything about him, and all he did was move 40 miles away from where he was playing and transferred, made a transformation into where baseball was. And if you want to talk about ratings, the 2004 World Series between the Dodgers and the Yankees averaged 12.9 million in Japan alone, which is a World Series record. So the combined ratings for LA and Japan, 28.7 million people per game. Hands down, Shohei Ohtani was the athlete of the year. The Time magazine got it wrong. And I know, Caitlyn, well, there was a buzz, but how in the world could an athlete sign a $700 million contract, go 50-50 for the first time in a sport that's been around almost 200 years, win a World Series, and have unprecedented TV ratings in two countries? Come on.
I'll tell you why. Shohei, as you've heard me talk about, and even defending him against you, going up against him and Aaron Judge and all that, Shohei was spectacular. But this isn't about who is the actual maybe best athlete. But, Rob, what makes him phenomenal, he didn't even do. What makes him a unicorn is that he hits and pitches. And he didn't even pitch this year. He's done it. He was more of a spectacle.
That's not the only thing that makes him
hold on. He was more of a spectacle the years prior, the last couple years, because he was winning 20 games and hitting 50 home runs. We've never seen that.
120 and he
but
never hit 50.
You know what I'm saying? Pitching in more than 20 games. We had never seen this before. That's what made him the unicorn. It was special to see. This year, the bigger argument could be made about baseball as a whole than Ohtani. Baseball as a whole had a mega year. Baseball as a whole had better storylines. Baseball was more entertaining. You had the Tigers out of nowhere. The Yankees and Dodgers both make it to the World Series. Oh my gosh, the Mets, where do they come from? And all of a sudden you got Grimace becoming a thing. So I would argue more than Ohtani, baseball had a bigger year. If you're going to go in the rankings of this Time magazine, I think it's Caitlyn Clark, then baseball, then Ohtani. And Caitlyn Clark is the most casual fan or casual person conversation. Everyone knows Caitlyn Clark. Oh, that's that girl in the WNBA who's shooting all those threes and doing this or causing controversy.
Nobody knows Shohei Ohtani.
No, a lot of people know her. A lot of people
Are you kidding?
I just said a lot of people know Shohei Ohtani, but he didn't evoke conversations like this. Ohtani,
yes, he did.
Ohtani is great.
He started the year with signing the contract that people couldn't believe.
No, that's true.
Okay, so that was the start of it, and then it went to the 50-50, which that was the big talk. Is he going to get 50-50? And then his Dodgers win the World Series.
But this is the challenge, Rob Parker. This is the challenge talking to you. You love baseball. You are baseball, and you are MLB bro. So you get in your echo chamber and y'all get to MLB bro on it. You and Sean and Steve DeSager, and y'all get your little MLB on, and you forget. A lot of people don't necessarily. It's not that baseball is not good. No. This was an amazing time covering baseball, best I've had in years. But what I mean is, Caitlyn Clark was starting controversy. She ain't as good as this. She's only getting this because she's white. No, Angel Reese is star. This was bigger than anything. This goes back to what made Bird and Magic and all of these things. It involved race. It involved money.
A winner.
It involved
players. In college. She didn't win. She didn't make the Olympic
Colin
team.
Kaepernick had been Time magazine player. He didn't win. He didn't even play.
No, but Colin Kaepernick had a stronger stance.
Athlete of the year is not being you. I told you, you can't be more than just the actual game.
No, but he encompassed everything. I mean, Ohtani did everything. Set the market value on salary.
And we passed it in a year.
And also won a World Series. All right.
Rob and I are talking about Time Person Athlete of the Year. They gave it to Caitlyn Clark. I say they got it right. Rob says no, should have been Shohei Ohtani. What says you? 877-99 on Fox. Who you got?
All right, let's kick it off with Bobby in Florida. You're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Bobby?
What's up, B?
Bobby. Did we lose him, Alex? All right. Garo in Phoenix. Is that right? Garo, Garo. You're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio.
Thank you very much, gentlemen, for taking my call. I want to start off by saying I grew up in Los Angeles, born and raised a Dodger fan, watched all the Dodger games, come see them when they come to Phoenix. But I'm going to have to tell you, when it comes to overall what a person did for their sport, and then to get all these people, not only just fans, but non-fans, people who don't even know anything about sports, like my wife, for example. Caitlyn Clark is known much more because of who she is and being a woman.
Okay, you got more? You got some more?
I mean, your wife doesn't never heard of Shohei Ohtani. Your wife doesn't know who that is.
Never heard of him.
She knows who it is, and you know what? You can't take away what Shohei Ohtani did, and it was probably the greatest season of all time. But you got to admit, there are people out there don't follow baseball.
And there are plenty of people who don't follow the WNBA and don't know Caitlyn Clark.
I don't know about that, Rob.
Don't act like everybody does.
No, I don't know about that, Rob.
Everybody doesn't know who she is. Please.
I'll give you the follow the WNBA for sure, but the idea that people don't know Caitlyn Clark,
they might have heard her name, but they've heard Shohei Ohtani's name. You don't have to follow baseball.
No, I'm saying they can identify
$700 million contract. Everybody knew his name. That's a household name.
Here's a great example. Juan Soto just signed $765. You know how many people don't know that? They don't know that. Some guy just signed. Caitlyn Clark was smeared everywhere, from Good Morning America to ESPN to Fox to that's a different type of notoriety than just simply sports.
Then I just disagree. I think that because I get that people knew who she was, but if you really take a look at what he accomplished compared to her, and it's called Athlete of the Year, not social media person of the year, or not we know your name because you didn't make the Olympics and you didn't win anything in the WNBA and you didn't win a national championship. I just never heard of an athlete who didn't win anything, and yet that's the athlete of the year.
But you're acting like she lost. I could understand if she was
she did. She didn't win.
Her team. I'm saying, she made it to the Final Four. She
didn't win.
But she made it.
They made the playoffs. She didn't win in the playoffs.
She made that team that hadn't made the playoffs since 2016.
Okay, but they didn't win.
But what I'm saying is, they don't say the time champion of the year. It's the time athlete of the year. They didn't have a stipulation of you had to win every game or the last game of the season.
Usually it's somebody, when they pick athletes, it's usually they've had some sort of historic moment.
She did.
I understand. No, she didn't.
She literally set records for her actual gameplay and viewership records.
So television person of the year. How about Carl in Mobile, Alabama? You're on the Odd Couple, Fox Sports Radio.
Hey, Rob, as a journalist with a degree in journalism, I usually side with you, but on this one I have to give her the nod, because when I say Athlete of the Year, she completed a full college season, went to the championship game, and then jumped right into a week later, played a full WNBA season. Most players that play college basketball have an off season to recuperate. She didn't have that, and went right into the WNBA and was a pivotal player on that team, led it to the playoffs. So she led two teams into the playoffs, and that athletically, physically is challenging for anybody to do. So I gave her the nod.
I'll tell you why I disagree with you, Carl. When people do something that no one has ever done in 150-plus year history of a sport, if you don't win Athlete of the Year on that, then you can't win it. I mean, what are we talking about? Nobody ever did 50-50. The game's been around for a gazillion years. If you don't win Athlete of the Year that year, what year would you win it?
The year in which a woman basketball player dominated all the sports talk shows, including your own daggone sports show, pre-me being here. Y'all were talking about it. Everybody was talking about it. You know you didn't talk about? You didn't talk about Swin Cash. You know you didn't talk about Candace Parker.
Talk to Rob G and ask about our podcast about Shohei Ohtani against Aaron Judge, and what was our top podcast? It wasn't Caitlyn Clark, okay?
No, I believe you.
It was not Caitlyn Clark.
I believe you, but I'm saying shows leading with a first of all, a college women's player, then turned WNBA player, then didn't even make the Olympic team, and it was the biggest conversation. That's just a remarkable thing. Got to give it to her in that regard as well.